The climate crisis is here. Time's slipping away to stop the worst effects of global warming, and we need solutions. Hosted by me, Molly Wood, How We Survive dives deep into the economics, the tech, and the human stories behind those solutions. From billionaires trying to monopolize lithium mines to business rivalries so fierce that one CEO was dragged off a plane by federal authorities. How We Survive, following the money to the end of the world because our survival might depend on it. Listen on Odyssey and everywhere you get your podcasts.
30 years ago this fall, a law professor named Anita Hill testified about sexual harassment at Clarence Thomas's Supreme Court confirmation hearings. Now, Because of Anita tells the real story of what happened and what's changed. You'll hear from journalists, witnesses, and activists, and listen in on the first public conversation between Professor Hill and Dr. Christine Blasey Ford. That's Because of Anita, a production of Pineapple Street Studios and The Meteor, out now wherever you get your podcasts.
Listen, there is good news. There's some bad news. Baker didn't play well. We're going to get into a lot of that.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Adam, it's a road game. You won the football game. It was a game that I thought would be a lot closer than it was. It was still kind of close coming down to the stretch there, but the Browns covered the spread. Makes everybody a little bit of cash on the side, and they played so well defensively in this game that you come away from it thinking, well, maybe our defense is really starting to gel, really starting to come together, especially that defensive line.
Yeah.
They get the game ball, no question about it, because they played their butts off in this game. And, listen, Kirk Cousins was pressured almost, I think I heard the stat, he was pressured 54% of dropbacks. That's crazy. I mean, he was running for his life in this game.
Especially after that first drive where the Vikings just marched down the field.
Yeah, I'm thinking, man, they're just going to just slice and dice this afternoon. And then, of course, the Browns just put the clamps on in the second quarter and all the way through the end of the game. They played really well. But you're right. The first drive, I was a little nervous because they went right down the field.
Yeah. And they had 75 yards on that first drive. I think they had 150 total the
rest of the game.
Rest of the game. By the way, how bizarre was it? We were talking about it. It was like the fastest first quarter ever.
Oh, that's his first half ever, really.
Yeah, and then the second half obviously slowed it up and ended.
Was it, Dave?
It was 23 minutes was the first.
23 minutes officially?
Real time.
Yeah, officially.
Real time.
I mean, it was crazy. When have you ever seen a team not complete its first possession, and not because, like, you get the ball and you fumble the kick or the punt, and you don't. But, like, it's true first time able to touch the ball, and that possession did not end until the second quarter. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
I may or may not have had the first quarter under 10 points. Like that, ending the first quarter.
There you go. It worked out
True
nicely.
degeneracy.
To only have one full possession
no.
in the first quarter. That's nice
and
for
the Browns were moving the ball, and I was like, man,
they were.
I thought they were definitely going to get a touchdown in the first quarter, and they didn't, obviously.
They didn't. They don't kick the field goal. We'll get to that because you and I have different takes on that. We'll get to that later in the hour. But you brought it up. Through all not all the negative, but some of the negative, which we will spend time on, the positive is what you said, and that's the defense. And this defense has been extremely impressive. If you think about it, the defense kind of fell on its face in the fourth quarter against the Chiefs and did not play well against Tyrod Taylor in the first half against the Texans. And that's been it. I mean, for 3 quarters, they played real well against Kansas City.
Yep.
Obviously, in the second half against Houston, now that was Davis Mills, who's a disaster, but they played well in the second half, and they have played. This is the best we've seen a Browns defense play in back-to-back games in I don't know how long. They completely dominated the Bears. Outside of the first drive, they completely dominated the Vikings. And unlike the Bears, the Vikings have a veteran quarterback, 2 excellent wide receivers. And, yeah, Dalvin Cook obviously wasn't himself, and that factored in. But Alexander Mattison, he didn't do anything either. And that guy, when he has played, he hasn't played a ton, but when that guy has played, he's been very good. I mean, they mentioned it in the broadcast. He's averaged over 5 yards a carry. Well, Alexander Mattison averaged 10 yards a carry. Cook and Mattison, 2 yards a carry yesterday. Cook and Madison combined 19 carries for 54 yards, which is less than 3 yards per carry. And again, it was an impressive first drive, but outside of that, the Browns defense was lights out. And there's a few things to note here, Dustin, defensively in terms of specific guys. How about the presence that we have seen and the performance we have seen the last 2 weeks by the second-round pick of the 2021 Cleveland Browns, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. You loved this guy coming out of college. You thought he might be the Browns' first pick at the end of the first round. And obviously the Browns' first-round pick didn't play this week, but he's played well so far too. But JOK, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, call him what you want, but don't call him late for the game because he's kicking ass out on the field right now.
I think I'm going to just start calling him the missile. Because that's how he plays. I mean, my God, this guy, sideline to sideline, is just all over the field. He's like a flash because he's just so damn fast. And I know he's not the biggest guy in the world, but he plays bigger than his size.
Yep.
I mean, he is really physical and such an athletic freak. I mean, what a great pickup this has been. And think about this. We're just 4 games into the season,
right?
And we're already talking about this guy like he's a world beater. I mean, so it's very impressive to see what this young man has been able to do in a short period of time, and I think he's only going to get better.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's ranked number 2 according to PFF in all linebackers, not just rookies.
It's amazing.
Or anything like that. I got to double check it, but I believe I saw that he was number 2, and he has just been so impressive. In fact, I'll tell you right now because I got it in front of me. He is ranked number 2 out of 79 linebackers that qualified. Number 2 with an 89.8 grade. Myles Garrett is the number 2 edge rusher right now with an 89.9 grade out of 106. Greedy Williams, even though he's only played 83 snaps, is actually the number 1 graded corner on PFF. Again, you can take whatever you want with a grain of salt. Malcolm Smith's played well. Grant Delpit's played well.
Yep.
Clowney's played well. Tack McKinley went in there, made some plays. We know Greg Newsome obviously didn't play this week, but he's played it. And I thought, Denzel Ward and Troy Hill, who have not gotten off to great starts this year, I thought both made a lot. Again, in that first drive didn't look good. But after that, they both made some big plays. You probably could have gotten greedy on that final play of the game for a pass interference, but they're never going to call that. That's a Hail Mary at the end. But he made some big plays. I mean, there was just big plays all over the place. The defense is playing really well the last 2 weeks.
I love the way Delpit plays. I mean, he's another missile out there running around in the secondary as well. I thought the front 4 of Garrett, Malik Jackson, Tack McKinley and company, those guys all played well. And I thought Clowney, after getting a little bit banged up, comes right back in the game and had himself a solid game as well. So it was, they're getting pressure with 4-man rushes.
Yep.
I thought the offensive line from Minnesota really had a tough day, with our front 4, front 7, specifically the front 4, because they were just getting home time after time after time.
216-578-0092. That's the number to jump in. We're starting with the good. We'll get to the bad in just a little bit.
It's tough to have bad after a win on the road. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Because obviously we're going to talk about the Baker stuff, and we have to talk about it, rightfully so.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, a win's a win, especially in this league, and especially on the road. You could hear how loud that place was. I was just impressed that our team was able to hold on for the victory, because that's not an easy environment to play in Minnesota.
No, not at all. There was a lot of Browns fans, but it was really loud.
Yep.
It was really crazy, and their crowd was going nuts after they marched down for that opening touchdown when they first got the ball. They were loud, and the Browns dealt with it. We've talked about the defense, but in addition to the defense, the running game was also highly effective for the Browns. They ran it a lot. They ran it well. Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt were both excellent in this one. They combined for 35 carries. We talk about, it was a star backfield matchup with 4 of the, 10 guys in the league averaging over 5 yards per carry.
Yep.
And while Dalvin Cook and Alexander Mattison combined for under 3 yards per carry in this game, Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt averaged almost 5 yards per carry between them in the game. Nick Chubb had 21 carries for 100 yards even. Kareem Hunt had 14 carries for 69 yards. Neither one was much of a factor in the passing game, only 22 receiving yards total. But those guys had some big runs. Dragon guys, they really got going in the second half, made some big plays, another touchdown run for one of the 2 touchdowns. I thought both backs played really well yesterday.
Oh, yeah. What was the total yardage? 186 yards rushing on the ground?
184 total, 169 from Chubb and Hunt.
Yeah, I mean, those guys were great. I thought that they just, in a game like this where you needed the run game specifically to come through big, I thought they complemented each other extremely well. The Browns did a good job running the ball late. Didn't love the idea to take a couple of those deep shots when they're trying to run the clock out and not give the football back to Minnesota. But nonetheless, when they had to pick up the first downs and get those tough runs, they got it done. And Chubb and Hunt are terrific running backs. And again, as I mentioned, they complement each other so well. They're so happy for one another. It doesn't matter who gets the success. They are extremely humble. And the Browns have, arguably the best duo in football, right? Not even arguably. They definitely have the best duo in football right now in the backfield.
There's no doubt about that.
Not even close.
It is not even close. Kareem Hunt has played 2 of his better games as a Cleveland Brown the last 2 weeks. The run blocking has been excellent. We'll get to some of the pass blocking because there's been some issues there with a couple of guys, and we'll get to it. But yes, the run blocking has been excellent. There's been holes. They've made holes. They've broken tackles. Obviously, that's Nick Chubb's specialty. He's as good as anybody in the league on that front. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot to be positive about. The kicker again, McLaughlin.
McLaughlin.
We still don't know. I don't know what it is. I'm still not.
According to Paul Allen, it is McLaughlin.
But somebody else, Jim Donovan's saying it differently, so I don't know who's got it right. Maybe he changed it. I have no idea. But
can somebody ask him? We want to know. Got to know.
But either way, he's done the job as well.
53-yard kick, my God, and it would have been good from 60.
Yeah, he's been excellent.
Patriots could have used him last night.
Yeah, that's true. That was a boring game. I found it boring.
I thought the Browns game was boring. It was boring.
Right.
I mean, I'll take a boring win any day of the week, though. So yeah. I don't mind a boring diet vanilla type of game. If that's how the Browns want to win, if that's who they are, then that's fine. I mean, Minnesota's not a bad team. They're a little worse than I thought offensively, and maybe I'll give some more credit to our defense too, because I think our defense played really well in this game. Because I think when Kirk Cousins gets a clean pocket, he throws a really good ball. And Justin Jefferson's something else on the outside. I mean, he's really, really talented.
Yes, he is.
Keeping up with the flood of news every single day can be quite stressful. There is climate change happening. There's the pandemic, labor movements, Nicki Minaj's cousin's friend. Hi, I am Gideon Resnick, host of Crooked Media's What a Day. Each week, Travell Anderson, Priyanka Arabindi, Josie Duffy Rice, and I are going to break down the biggest news stories of the day in a way that hopefully doesn't always make you want to cry. New episodes of What a Day drop every weekday at 5 a.m. Eastern. Listen on Odyssey, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
There's a lot of streaming services out there, each filled with reality TV, comedy, drama, and of course, superheroes. But there's one dedicated entirely to nonfiction TV and documentary films, and that's Curiosity Stream. History, science, nature, we've got it. Space, dinosaurs, big cats, we've got that too. And pretty much anything else you want to explore. Go ahead, add some smart TV to your smart TV with Curiosity Stream. Go to curiositystream.com to sign up and start streaming today.
The climate crisis is here. Time's slipping away to stop the worst effects of global warming, and we need solutions. Hosted by me, Molly Wood, How We Survive dives deep into the economics, the tech, and the human stories behind those solutions. From billionaires trying to monopolize lithium mines to business rivalries so fierce that one CEO was dragged off a plane by federal authorities. How We Survive, following the money to the end of the world because our survival might depend on it. Listen on Odyssey and everywhere you get your podcasts.